Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's dive into a story about workplace justice, where careful observation and a clever plan led to a well-deserved comeuppance for an underhanded coworker. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. You're upset I'm the top performer? Then you get yourself a bare minimum employee. For background, my jobs have always been geared towards data entry, as that's what I'm best at. I've always typed over 120 plus and love finding new keyboard shortcuts to save me time and just be more efficient overall. Not a brag, trust me. Because of this skill, I've always excelled in prior roles that utilized it. That is until my current career. I've been with this company for almost 3 months now. As with a lot of data entry jobs, this one has weekly productivity that you must meet. By week 2, I was meeting productivity once I grasped the role. This fueled me to try and get even faster. I learned the programs I was to be using and used simple keyboard shortcuts to toggle between programs, close them, used Excel formulas to concatenate and VLOOKUP repetitive information that others usually type out every time, etc. You get the idea. If there's a way to save time, I'll find it. We get the team productivity email yesterday, and I see that I tripled what's expected of a single employee in an entire week. My numbers skyrocketed to levels that haven't been reached before. Now, here's the really fun part. Rather than getting any sort of praise, this company has felt anti-praise since I started, or being asked how I did it, I get an email from management stating my numbers are concerning and that they're essentially opening up an investigation to see if I cheated somehow. I even received a screenshot of others' numbers in one specific area, with management stating it's impossible to have that much of a lead over those who've been here for years. My numbers were in the 800s, while the second highest was 300 in a week. Today, my boss calls me and says she's been spending the day checking my work, and so far everything's been accurate. Mind you, this investigation didn't start with her. She was just asked to check my work and was reporting what she found. But it's all accurate. She says I can continue with what I'm doing since she found no problems. Now, I learned quickly that this isn't the type of place to be praised. There is zero incentive for anyone to go above and beyond if it's just going to be questioned. Now, to clarify, I fully understand that if something seems off, a company's going to want to check and ensure I'm understanding the work and entering it properly, especially with a new employee. But to email me stating it's concerning and impossible prior to even checking my work is where I have the issue. I shouldn't have even needed to be told it had to be looked into. They were told my numbers were accurate, and there's been radio silence since. No apology, no praise, no how did you do it, in hopes I can show the rest of my team so we can get caught up one day. So with what little knowledge of Excel I had, I made a spreadsheet that tallies my accounts as I go so I can pace myself, and am now alerted as soon as I meet that goal so that I can stop working without going over. I did add just a tiny bit more wiggle room to my spreadsheet as to not accidentally go under productivity to where they would have reason to use corrective action, but just ever so slightly above the bare minimum. If they're going to treat me like a bare minimum employee, they're going to get a bare minimum employee. Very few companies are going to pay you 3 times as much if you do the work of 3 people. So do the work of 3 people at 3 different jobs for 3 different paychecks. And our second story. Karen wants pizza from a place that has everything but pizza. The other day I wanted a pizza. My favorite pizza place is in a supermarket nearby, one of those in-store shops. Now, the way this place is arranged, there's the pizza shop on the right that sells only pizza and nothing else besides some refreshments. On the left, there's a grill-type shop that sells everything from hot dogs to chicken breast to potato salad and everything in between, but it doesn't serve pizza at all. And then there's the common seating area, which consists of 2 tables and a long table along the wall. Between the 2, where you can sit down and eat if you don't want the food to go. I grab my pizza and I see no free seat nearby when I spot someone leaving the first chair by the grill place on the long table, so I sit there and start digging into my pizza. I barely eat a slice when Karen comes up to the grill. Cashier, how can I help you? K, I want a pepperoni pizza with... C, I'm sorry ma'am, we don't serve pizza here. If you want one... Karen interrupts. What do you mean you don't have pizza? This person here, points at me, is eating one. C, he got it from the place next door. Okay, Okay, so go make me one too. C. I can't. I don't work there. You'll have to go to... What do you mean you don't work here? This is a restaurant. You work here. Give me a pizza. Ma'am, I'm trying to tell you we are two separate establishments. We don't have pizza. They do. Okay, then why is he eating pizza here? Again, pointing at me. Hey, why do you sit here? Me. There were no other free seats. Okay, it doesn't matter. If you ordered from the other side, you have to sit there. Me. It's a common area. You can sit whatever you want, no matter where you ordered. So Karen thought the two shops was just one restaurant, but for some reason there were two separate seating areas? Hashtag Karen logic. Hearing the commotion, a security guard comes over. S. What's going on here, ma'am? Why are you yelling? K. This worker refuses to serve me and continues to say he doesn't work here. S. Is this true? C. Okay, ma'am, I'll serve you. What did you want again? K. I already told you. I want a pepperoni pizza with extra cheese. C. Looking at the guard and gesturing towards Karen. S. Ma'am, the pizza place is right over there. K. I know. He needs to go over there and serve me. To make this short, the story pretty much repeats. In the end, the Karen leaves, huffing and puffing and swearing she'll never come back. The cashier actually apologizes to me about the inconvenience, and I say he didn't have to. Pizza and a show. This just made my day. I'll never understand this obsession with being right. It would have taken her much less time and effort to just walk to the other booth and get her stupid pizza. And our next story. Do you know who my husband is? This story takes place in late fall 1976. I was 11 years old and never missed the bus to school. This day, missed the bus, and my dad said he was too busy to drive me the 20 miles to school. I stayed home, worked on my schoolwork, and did some chores around our farm. This year, we had a very wet spring, so crops went in late, so my dad's out in the field harvesting field corn. It was getting close to noon, so I go in the house and start lunch, knowing my dad will be coming in for lunch anytime. By 12:30, he isn't in for lunch. This man had a stomach you could set a clock by. I head out towards the field to see why he's late. I see him staggering towards the house like he's drunk. I wasn't alarmed, just wondered what was going on. Why is he walking like that? He's finally a few feet from me and raises his forearms toward me. It took a few seconds to understand the blood all over his clothes and the fact his arms are badly wounded. He had the presence of mind to have shoved both hands into the bucket of axle grease we had by the machine shed. I ran in the house, grabbed the keys, and get him back into the truck. I'd been driving around the farm and back roads for a couple of years now. We set off for the nearest hospital in a 20-year-old farm truck with a 3 on the tree. It's about 30 miles from where we lived. Just so happens there's a river with a drawbridge you have to cross to get into this town. They're in the process of building a higher bridge and getting rid of the drawbridge. So as you can imagine, they've moved the original road, narrowed the lanes, and all the usual construction stuff. I get about a mile from the bridge and traffic's at a dead stop. The bridge is up for an approaching barge. My dad's in the seat moaning and going in and out of consciousness. So I'm in our farm truck and pull off the road. I start driving through the construction area to get to the head of the line for the bridge traffic. I'm honking like an idiot, waving my hand. The workers are yelling but moving aside. One guy pulls his truck across in front of me and jumps out, cussing me out. I later found out he was the foreman. I had to stop when he blocked me because of Caterpillar tractors on each side. He comes to the door, yanks it open, ready to kill me. He saw my dad and yanked me from the seat and threw me in the bed of the truck and is screaming in his radio. The man was doing about a dozen things simultaneously. His workers are running ahead of the truck to where the line of cars are. He's on the radio telling the bridge operator to stop the barge and lower the bridge. Not in a minute, do it now. All this probably took him a minute to 2 minutes. To me, it was only a moment. He drives the truck up to the bridge. Here comes the original Karen. This lady is burned into my memory. She's driving a Cadillac, huge bleached beehive hairdo, cigarette in her claws, and the B-wordiest face I've ever seen. The construction guys have been telling her to back up and move so they can get the truck onto the bridge. They explain injured man in the truck. I hear this bleached cow yell, she doesn't care, the injured man can wait. She needs to get to her beauty appointment. The foreman tells her he'll use a Caterpillar to move her if she doesn't move willingly. She refuses, stating the, "Do you know who my husband is?" At that point, our truck's about 2 inches from the side of her car. My dad holds up his hands. She apparently saw the blood and the fact that his hands are badly wounded. She faints. The foreman and his guys put her car in neutral and push it into a ditch. The foreman drives us to the hospital. He's also on his radio telling whoever he's talking to that he wants the cops there to arrest her and her car towed for putting someone's life in jeopardy. I don't know what all happened to her. I do know this foreman was a force of nature. So that's my story of dealing with the original Karen that spawned all the current Karens. Since, I guess some will ask, my dad's sleeve got caught in the gears of the corn picker when he was working on it without turning it off. Once his right hand went in, he tried to pull it out with his left hand and ended up spending several months in the hospital and many operations. The foreman, hero without a cape. And the entitled Karen, I really hope she got the full force of the law descending on her and her husband, who apparently has taught her to use his name to be an itchy bee. And our last story. HOA destroyed my road. Hello, Redditors. I want to share with you a story that happened over 15 years ago about how I encountered the local homeowners association and won a lawsuit. It all started when I bought my dream house by the river with a huge garden and charming stream crossed by a wooden bridge. This bridge was the only way to reach my house by car unless you have an amphibious vehicle. The place was simply magical. One morning I noticed there was no newspaper at my doorstep and thought that maybe the delivery person was ill. Something had happened, or perhaps someone had stolen my newspaper as it happened before. When I checked the surveillance camera footage, I noticed that my bridge just disappeared. Initially, I thought it was a joke or a mistake, but when I went outside, I saw that the bridge had indeed been destroyed. I was shocked. I immediately went to the HOA office to find out what had happened, as their homes were right after the bridge. The ensuing dialogue was at least surprising. Me. Hello, I'm here about the bridge in my garden, which someone destroyed. Did you see what happened? HOA representative. Oh yes, it was us. Me. HOA representative. We decided that the stream is public space and the bridge needed to be removed. Me. Excuse me, but how can you manage my property? I'm not even a member of your HOA. HOA representative, it doesn't matter. The stream belongs to everyone, and we must ensure safety and accessibility. Realizing that the conversation would lead nowhere, I decided to consult a lawyer. My property documents were in order, and I was definitely not a member of the HOA. My lawyer prepared and filed a lawsuit in the district court accusing the HOA of wrongful actions, property damage, and violation of my rights as the owner. The lawsuit included claims for compensation for damages, moral damages, and legal expenses. At the preliminary hearing, HOA representatives tried to argue that they acted in the public interest and safety. However, my lawyer clearly showed that the stream was on my land and part of my property, and the HOA's actions were not sanctioned by any legal basis. During the court proceedings, my lawyer presented video evidence showing how workers hired by the HOA destroyed the bridge. There were also witnesses confirming that I had received no warnings. The court concluded that the HOA's actions were illegal and caused significant damage to my property. The judge particularly noted that the HOA acted contrary to legal norms, having obtained no consent or prior notice. The judge ruled that the HOA must pay me compensation for the destroyed property, moral damages, and cover all legal costs. The amount of compensation was significant. In addition to financial compensation, the judge imposed temporary restrictions on the HOA's actions, requiring a review of their policies and actions, as well as an audit of their previous decisions for legality. The HOA leadership was temporarily suspended from their positions for further investigation. Everything indicates that the HOA will now be completely disbanded, as this is not their first such action. I don't understand why anyone would care about a bridge over a creek so much that they have to destroy it. Sick people. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.